Aims are what you want to achieve by doing your research. Objectives are exactly how you will go about achieving your aims. So the aims are about the what, the objectives are about the how. But how should you write them? What words should you use? Are there any interesting little hacks you should know about? Spoiler alert, yes there are. And I'm going to be sharing those in this video. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Yardley and I've been supporting master's degree and PhD students for the last 20 years. Most of the students I've supported in that time have benefited from a little bit of advice on their aims and objectives because they've muddled them up, because they've used the wrong words, because they've just simply described the research process when they've been putting together their aims and objectives, which is not the way you should do it. So I wanted to make this video so that you can absolutely crush your aims and objectives and just get on with the rest of your research. But before we get into that, if you are currently working on your aims and objectives, you will probably find this cheat sheet helpful. It summarises the key points from this video and gives you a load of words that you can use for your aims and objectives. Okay, first up, aims. As I said at the beginning, aims are about what you want to achieve by doing your research. They're about the bigger picture. They're about the outcomes of your research. They're about the difference that your project will make. They're about what will happen as a result of you doing this research. In terms of the number of aims, I wouldn't advise having any more than 3 because this really forces you to focus and be incredibly clear about what it is you want to achieve. Here are some examples of aims relating to PhD research projects, so feel free to take a screenshot. Now let's take a look at the objectives, which are about the how, the things you need to do within your research project to ensure that you actually achieve the aims that you set out to achieve. You might want to use words like these when you are developing your objectives, but before you go and you run off and you write your objectives, stay with me because that is a really important thing you need to know before you do. Now, there is a very specific way that you should present your objectives. But before we get onto that, I just want to tell you what you absolutely shouldn't be doing with objectives. You shouldn't just list out the chapters of your dissertation as your objectives, and I still see so many people doing this. For example, conduct a literature review, develop a methodology, analyse the findings. Your objectives are way more sophisticated than this. The chapters of your thesis aren't necessarily going to neatly map onto your objectives. An objective might be met across several chapters. For example, one of your objectives might be to identify the needs of a specific community of people. And that is something that you're going to meet across your thesis, across your dissertation. It's something you're going to tackle in your literature review to find out what other scholars have said about the needs of this group. But it's also something that you are going to address in your own findings because of the study that you do. So it's not something that you can just neatly put into a particular chapter box. Now, here's what you should be doing. Your objectives should be presented in 3 layers, like a sponge cake. You've got the rich, jammy, complex, delicious middle objectives, in between 2 more basic, simple sponge type objectives. And presenting them in this way is a really good way of demonstrating the logical progression in your research strategy. This is because it helps you differentiate between the simpler, more basic things that you're doing at the beginning, the more complex, in-depth things you're doing in the middle, and the so what questions at the end. Now, coming up, I've got some examples of research objectives laid out in this sponge cake manner, so get ready to take some screenshots. The last piece of advice I want to give you is to be really specific when it comes to your aims and your objectives. Don't just use really vague generic terms like do or learn about or study, because those words aren't detailed enough, they're not descriptive enough, they don't go into enough depth about what that actually involves. So if you find yourself veering towards quite generic, all-encompassing terms like those, ask yourself these questions. What does doing actually involve? What is that comprised of? What do I mean by study? How exactly am I going to study it? What am I going to achieve by looking at or examining this thing? What's actually involved in learning about? What does that look like? So specificity all the way. And that's it, we're done. Don't forget to grab your aims and objectives cheat sheet and come back for my next video when I'll be sharing more tips and advice on all things PhD. I'll see you then.